Warning, if you're faint of heart or easily offended, this show is not for you.
I do not want to lose at anything. I like to win in everything I do. So that's the thing that I've learned. I felt better on your show than I was. I mean, they've seen me at Live at the Bike lose my shit and I straddled against Doug Polk 10,000. I was like, let's go, let's go all in 10,000.
Yeah.
You've actually told me before at the table, get up and take a walk. You've actually suggested, hey, why don't you go for a walk?
Yeah, go blow some steam, man.
Yeah.
Like you're doing dumb shit.
Well, then I went to Baccarat, probably lost another 15. So it's like
Welcome to the Nick Vertucci Show. I am Nick Vertucci. I am here with Josh Macciello. Josh, where have you been? Where the hell have you been? We haven't seen you on the show in 2 months, 3 months?
It's been way longer than that.
5 months?
I haven't played, I think it's 7 months now, going on 7 months.
7 months.
Yes.
Okay, so before we get to a lot of things, which I think some of your personal stuff and your business is probably one of the reasons I haven't seen you. Yeah, well, I know that we're friends, but
Yes.
I'm gonna let you tell us. And so you're from Brooklyn, New York.
I am from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised.
Yeah, and you got a wife, 3 kids.
My beautiful wife, Anna, my daughter, Nicole, 22, and my twin boy, 17, they're my heart, my soul, my life.
Okay. Tell the people watching and listening who is Josh? Like, where have you been the last 7 months? What have you been doing?
So, as you know, because we are friends, I started a studio right before the pandemic, a media company studio called Global Ascension Studios. I start with 2 amazing partners. Derek Chan used to be the head of global of DreamWorks Animation, and Arthur Sarkeesian, who will be on the show, by the way. Arthur's one of the most famous producers, did all the Rush Hour movies.
Yeah.
Just had The Protege come out with Sam Jackson, Michael Keaton. Just did Memory with Liam Neeson, promoting my partner. But Arthur is a genius. Everybody in his town knows him. So we formed a studio. We got some land in Vegas.
Make movies.
Absolutely. We're doing all media, not just movies. We're going to be doing TV. We're going to be doing reality. We're going to be doing feature film. So, we picked up 20 acres in Henderson. So we're going to be building. We start like end of first quarter, beginning of second quarter next year, building a state-of-the-art studio. It's going to be, Derek said when he did DreamWorks, it was 500,000 square feet. We think we're going to go a little bit bigger than that.
So you guys are going to go into Vegas?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, no Hollywood.
It's, there's just no incentive to stay here and do it.
Yeah.
Nevada
Sure.
gives you really good incentives now to come there. That's why the Mark Wahlbergs and all these guys are going that way.
They're moving there?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely.
And you used to be part of, like, you were a talent scout for But Can They Sing? And then you were involved with Deal No Deal in production?
Yeah, so what happened is I worked for a really, really interesting group of folks who brought me on many, many moons ago to help them. They were just launching VH1 shows. And from that, their first show was a show called But Can They Sing? And it was all these athletes and all that. So I would recruit the talent. We had Larry Holmes, and we had all these folks, the Gotti's grandsons. We had.
Could any of them sing?
Oh, they tried. I am going to beat nobody up, but they definitely tried to sing. And from that production was able to start doing a show called Deal or No Deal, which Howie Mandel hosted.
Yeah,
and it became really, really popular. So I got my chops wet, I would say.
Did you know Howie?
I did not. I was around him, though, in different... So my real first break in life, when I came to California, Bud Friedman, God rest his soul, he just passed away. He created all the improvs. So Bud hired me to run the showroom on the Melrose Improv, 21 years old. So my job was putting comedians on the stage and taking them off the stage at 21 years old. And I met Howie several times there.
Was he really a germaphobe?
Yes, he was. Literally the fist pump and all that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and I always say one day, I'm going to grab him for real, but I never
probably
did.
would have died.
Yeah, he probably would.
Now, one thing I skipped over, you were a baseball player.
I played a very high level of college. I was at rookie ball for the Marlins, and I hurt my arm. I had a bad injury. I popped my bicep tendon, needed surgery. And I remember at that time...
Were you a pitcher?
No, actually, I was an outfielder, but because I had a cannon for an arm, they brought me in to pitch, not teaching me the different mechanics of how you throw from the outfield to pitching. And I popped my bicep tendon, still threw an inning after that. And I remember in the rehab, they said it's going to take you this long, and just seeing all these horses of kids that were there, I didn't want to do it, Nick. You know,
Yeah.
my dad left when I was 1. You know, we've rekindled our relationship since, but my mom raised me. I wanted a family. I wanted the husband, wife, kids around the table, and all that rehabbing and all that just didn't seem worth it to me.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. And you also own an energy company? What's that?
We do. So in 2015, the same gentleman, Derek Chan, and I started a company called Amici MPTS. We partnered with an amazing company inventor named Adil Khan. He invented this solution that you hook up to panels that reduce energy consumption, and not like all these black boxes that everybody talk about, but this actually works. It does a great job. Our biggest customers are the military. We're in NORAD, the Pentagon, and other places like that. We're in a lot of Air Force bases, GSA buildings. So we're really excited. That thing is getting ready to blow up pretty big for us.
That's cool. And wow, so you got your hands in a lot of things. What's Project Eggshell?
So back in, and this one is this hurts me in my heart because I actually sat down with Ada Patterson at Google several times. So back in 2010, 2012, my brother-in-law and I, before you guys had all these earpieces that you could put in, we said, wow, you go to a sports bar and you sit down and you got all these TVs going on, but they put music in the background because you can't have each individual game. We invented a technology that was a plastic piece that you would snap and it would give you 4 hours. You can put it on and put the channel of the game you're watching. So you can literally have an earpiece on. So it actually worked. We did it. It worked. But then technology just beat us.
You got ran over. You got ran over. And what's the current movie you guys are working on?
We're working on the Ross Cappuccioni story. Very famous thing. If you guys want to Google, we have a documentary going on. It's about 20 minutes long, showing what we're going to make as the movie with Ross speaking. Ross was brutally shot 3 times with a shotgun and survived. And he attests everything to God. God saved his life. You know, a stupid act. I don't want to give away the storyline, but you'll see it in the documentary.
Okay.
To where this kid was blasted at close range with a shotgun 3 times, and by the grace of God, he was able to survive.
Wow. When does this come out?
We're in pre-production now. Figure within a year we should have it ready to go.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
And what's my next part in what movie?
I think there's an amazing policeman role in that, and due to your previous life, you could fit it perfectly.
Yeah, I'm an actor. I was in the Big Gold Brick. I
saw
robbed
you.
Andy Garcia at gunpoint.
Listen, I saw you and I said to you, Nick, I was impressed. You have some chops on
Let's
you.
call me Nicky One Take.
Nick. Well, I hope so. It saves us money.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question now. You don't have to answer it. I almost feel like I'm just going to ask you. Yeah, we're here to talk about anything, right?
I'm open book.
You took a lot of heat. You have told me, and it is out there, that you made a bid at the Los Angeles Dodgers to buy the Los Angeles, of course, with investors, correct?
Wasn't my money. I want to make that clear. Everybody ran with that.
Yeah. And is that something you want to tell us about? Because you took a lot of heat for that because of some articles that came out. And what do you want everyone to know about that? Or do you want to pass?
No. I'm an open book. First of all, you can ask me anything.
Okay.
The Dodger thing was very passionate to me with my baseball background. I partnered up with a guy named Fred Furrow, who was partnered with a gentleman named Mung Ho Lee. If you look Mung Ho Lee up, he owned Michael Jackson Enterprises with Michael Jackson, and he owned Sony BMG. He sat on the South Korean Stock Exchange. Really, really nice man. And I told them, hey, guys, I want to make a bid at the Dodgers. They said, what are you thinking? I says, well, they're only worth about $800 million, but I believe that the team is $900 million bankrupt, so you're at 1.7. That if we get it over the 2B range,
right,
we're going to pay the most for a sports team ever. And my whole logic was, for the people that don't know about me, the TV rights deal was coming up, Nick. So what does that mean? Well, you were getting ready to make billions of dollars for 30 years of having the rights, whether it was Time Warner or Fox.
Yeah.
So I went to these big guys and I said, hey, this is what's going on. Well, a lot of folks weren't happy that, in their words, I was using somebody else's money to use a deal. I wasn't using my own money.
That's how most people do deals when they're in the billions.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And the funniest line I ever heard was, well, he's using foreign money. And at that time, we were only 13 trillion in debt to China. And I said, it's all their money. It's all foreign money.
Yeah, technically.
So when it became popular that, wait a minute, this guy went from 25 bidders and I made it down to the final 5, the clause came out.
Yeah.
And now you
Well, that's
saw
how it goes.
You know as well as anybody else.
Yeah.
Now the stories start coming out. He's a fraud. He's a this.
Yeah.
But Fred Rogan held my bid up on NBC Sports and said, we have his real
Before
bid.
you accomplish anything, or if you do accomplish something great, or if you're in the works, that's when you're a target. It's just the way it is.
Okay, so what's new with the Dodgers? Do you believe what you read? Do you believe what you hear? Do you take everything with a grain of salt? Well, here's a fact. Josh Macciello, who we introduced you to, who owns Amatral Entertainment, bid $2.2 billion. Everybody I've talked to believes that is total insanity. Macciello, who had the documents to back it up.
So, that's what happened. I was a fan favorite, and it was so great because I went and played with all these retired Dodgers and bloggers, and I wound up just outperforming even former players. So they saw, wait a minute, this guy can play the game too, and he wants to own the team. People didn't like that. I was becoming too much of a fan favorite, and I was saying things like, I love America. I'm a born bred American.
Isn't that something that we live in a day and age where if you say I love America, you actually could take a lot of heat?
It happened
in America.
Nick, this was 2012. Imagine what happened since then. We went through the Trump era. We went through now, with Sleepy Bonehead here. So for me, you have all this stuff that I've dealt with back then. I'll send you some of my clips. I'm a blue blood American because I am. Look, I'm Italian American, but I'm born and raised here. I love this country. My grandparents came from Italy. Some of them came from Puerto Rico and Italy. So for me, I'm as real as they come as American. I'm the American dream, and I'm an entrepreneur. Look, I ante up. Why I'm here because you and I love poker, and I live my life like I play poker. I go all in, dude, and I see what happens.
Yeah, we've talked, and you mentioned to me a while back that you live a life of business variance. Yeah, and you mentioned to me that you have a wife that has supported you through business variance because that could be tough. Because in business, myself. I've had a lot of up and downs. I've went broke 1.5 times, basically. One time, millions in debt. But like yourself, I just I have an entrepreneur spirit, and I can't do anything else. I don't know how to do anything else but to create something. So I get it, man. And there's a lot of, we just mentioned it, there's a lot of heat you take when you create success or are successful. And at the same time, there's a lot of lumps too that you take, and then there's a lot of rewards that you get from it too, which people are jealous of.
And people in our day and age don't want to hear what really is going on. They'd rather make assumptions and just put stuff out there about you because it's so easy for these click words. I call them these excuse my language, they're fucking pussies if you want to really know what they are, because they hide behind a computer knowing that they never got to face a guy like you or I, and they say whatever they want. Instead of, and I'm a really down-to-earth, cool guy. I've had a lot of people who thought things differently about me, got to know me, sat with me, and they were like, oh my God, you're the coolest guy ever. Well, this is what happens when you communicate
when you get
people.
To know somebody, or you really know the true story. Yeah,
exactly.
So anything else you want to say on the purchase of the Dodgers thing? Was there you mentioned to me a long time ago, tell me if this is true, I don't want to get facts wrong, but you mentioned to me that there was a particular publication that was also a bidder of the Dodgers that attacked you, so they had the ability to basically hit your integrity.
So one of the competing bidding groups owned a paper called the LA Weekly. And when it came down...
Now, is the LA Weekly the same thing as the OC Weekly, the ones that advertise the pot and the weed and the hookers?
They have the massage parlor ads on the back.
Oh, yeah.
That's what really pays for their business.
Yeah, I love that magazine.
And so at that time, and by the way, I'm not going to say who, maybe he owns the Mets now or not, but I was insulted. I was insulted.
Maybe he owns the Mets.
I was insulted by one of the bidders. He insulted me. And
you insulted him a little bit.
Exactly. I insulted him a little bit back. So there was things. I mean, look, I was getting into talks and arguments with Mark Cuban. It was, for me, it was a very fun part of my life. But that paper was a retaliation to things that were said. Because I don't take shit. I don't give a fuck how much you're worth. I don't take shit from nobody. I don't care who you are, how much money you got. Because again, I'm not coming after you. But if you come after me, now it's on. So, that paper then went and wrote a bunch of stuff where, and by the way, Nick, I want to say this. They wrote a lot of stuff that were true, but sprinkled it with lies.
Well, that's the best way to do it, right?
So was I ever arrested, which is what they said? Absolutely. I got arrested. When I was 21 years old, I got caught in a car with thousands of Vicodin pills. I did have an attorney because it was very unusual circumstances to how it happened, and it got thrown out of court. Okay? It was dismissed. Now, conveniently, the LA Weekly didn't say that part. All they said was, he's a convicted this, and that. Well, they didn't say it was thrown out of court and dismissed. There was a lot of things like that could have been said. But again, if you're trying to win a bid, you're conveniently not going to say that. And then do a retraction and print very small what really happened many weeks later.
Right. Yeah, no, I get it, man. That's, and in fairness, not in fairness because it's shitty and cheesy, but kind of was business,
it's
right?
Listen, and I'm Italian from Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's
I
business.
get it. It was look, they
took a shot.
I don't play that way, by the way. For me,
I get it.
I'm not, but I get it.
But you understand the world we live in, and sometimes that's business.
And I'm a big boy. I didn't cry. I pulled up my pants. I understood, and here I am again in their face.
Well, that's why, and I'm not going to go into this subject because I recently have talked to Houston Curtis, that runs the bike, and him and I have been in talks to, we both feel like, there should be I don't want to call it truce because there's really nothing, but, and I said to him, I understand why your guys have been saying all these things since day one, and that's why, I'm a fighter, I go back at it, and I don't, because if you notice, I support the Lodge. Yeah. They play on our show. There's nothing about it. And they actually have way more traction than the bike. It's nothing to do with business for me, but I understand that maybe that was business for them, but I don't play that way either. But I also don't take it. And so I guess what my point was there, I don't want to say anything bad about those guys because I'm going to possibly, if they're willing to just knock it off, I'm willing to knock it off. Hey, look, more poker streams, just like more franchises and people going after the Dodgers, everything else. That's good. There's room for everybody.
Nick, I as you know, if you look at my player's card, I actually think I have it in my pocket from the bike. It was 2001. I started going there. I started playing that show.
Good. I wanted to talk about poker. Let's transition to that. Go ahead.
Live at the Bike 2006. I know streaming. I played it longer than anybody. That I mean, it's Big Harry, who you know.
Yeah, I love
very
Harry.
well.
Hey, by the way, Harry, I know I don't see you and talk to you, but I love you.
Yeah, Harry's one of my closest friends, and so I was in that wave. There was 3 waves, and then you guys came. There was a wave that initially happened. Kenna James and all these guys, Tran and all these guys came in. Then came into Live at the Bike and started playing that show. And then you had the next wave of folks, and so me and Harry were there for all the waves. And I'll never forget, before you guys came, 2017, I had the biggest pot on Live at the Bike. It was like $60,000.
Yeah.
That was like, and we were playing for me and Doug Polk, Ryan Feldman, your brilliant partner there, set up a game where Doug Polk had his own week, and and that's speaking of the Lodge, Doug, one of my favorite guys. Yeah, he speaks his truth, and people don't like it, but I love the fact that he does that. But Doug came in, and Alex Torelli and Kane Callis and all that. Ryan put together a good show, and it was an amazing event. And then you guys came, the Garretts and Nick Vertucci's and that wave, and took it to a whole other level, which I'm not jealous of that. I thought, wow, this is fucking awesome. And to see, quite frankly, where you guys have taken live streaming now. Yeah. I mean, dude,
pretty crazy.
I always tell people, everybody's still looking at television. What you guys are doing on YouTube, if people look at the algorithms, you're crushing TV. No, there's no
of course,
poker TV show that can hang with you guys right now when you look at all the views you guys are getting. So, I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of you seeing how you converted your game, because, watching you play at Live at the Bike, I used to say, damn, how am I not playing there no more? I can make a lot of money off this guy.
Fuck you, man.
And then
it's true though.
And then now,
true.
now you're a fucking headache for people at the table, and it's rewarding. And I know why, because we're friends. Because people, I want to say this, and this was not choreographed. He doesn't even know I was going to say this. This man has been working every single day on his game.
They're gonna think that's choreographed.
They can think what they want.
I know.
Fuck
That's
them,
all
dude.
right.
Every single day on his game with a coach. He won't say the name probably, but it's fine. Very qualified guy who is demolishing the poker world right now in every facet. His coach. So when you realize that that's what he's doing and you see it, then you don't got to put up with all these stupid fucking tweets and allegations and all that. I mean, the guy sits like this now, and the things that you guys are, things you guys are looking for. What are you signaling me, Nick? I call.
Yeah.
It's like, and Ronnie's in on it, and fucking, I don't even think you've ever even talked to the other guy they accused you of. Mars. You and Mars probably had like 3 conversations in your life. Yeah. I mean, it's a shame what you fuckers out there got to do for attention. It really, really is. But I guess, hey, look, that's your business model. Yeah. You need to try to bring people down.
You know what's crazy to me is that it's like this. I know no one's going to believe this wasn't planned, but fuck it. It's like this. Look, there is no reason why the poker community shouldn't be in tune, in touch, concerned, looking into things. Look, no problem with that at all. But I think if you really, like, let's look at it this way. What if none of that happened? Just let's say I know nothing happened with me, but what if just nothing happened? How fucked up is it? Because listen, Josh, I want to say this too. Yeah. We have done more for the poker world than anyone has done in a long time at Hustler Casino Live at High Stakes Poker Productions. And that doesn't exempt us from scrutiny. Actually, more of it should come. And it doesn't exempt us from wrongdoing if there is. But if you really love poker and you want what's best for the poker community, do what you're doing if that's your cross you want to carry, but just do it properly and ethically and factually. I'm cool with that. So that's the part that's a bummer, because, a lot of these people claim that they're just, poker and I'm not talking about like the Matt Berkeys. Look, Matt did a show on what he thought the security should have been. That was his opinion. I've said it before. I got really defensive about his delivery and how he went about it. And he's very set in his ways. I'm set in my ways, and it went to shit. I'm not talking about guys like him. Guys like him should be able to say whatever they want to say and do and have their opinions, as everyone else should. But when and Matt's never done this. He has alluded to my stats, but he's never came after me personally. He's never come after and said those words that he thinks something's happening. He just discusses the stats and the numbers, which is fine. But when you flat out come out to a guy like there, even someone, don't say who, but someone was mentioning even like the other night that Mike X was something like this, right? And it's just like, when does that stop? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, if you really love the poker community, respect it. Like, and same with me. I didn't respect it. I've made a lot of mistakes. I went about a lot of the things at the beginning of this very poorly, which I think is total negative EV for poker, for me, for my show, for my partner, and everything else. And it's a learning experience, because if you've never been in somebody's shoes when they're going through something like that, you don't know, you have to put yourself in that position and really be in it, right?
Look, you guys, you're emotional. We know this. I know this. Okay. And
I should have a third nipple.
And
I don't, but I should.
You should. And the one thing I will say though is you always will apologize when you're wrong.
Yeah.
You will. You're not dug in. You'll realize, you'll hear it out. You'll ask somebody to explain to you why they're feeling that way, and then you'll apologize. And you've done it. And look, nobody realizes everything that was coming at you during that time, and how important this show is, and why we're talking about it so much, and why I'm happy to be here and talking about it, is because I am and have been involved in this live stream world so long. I've been a champion of not only you guys here, but even Feldman at Live at the Bike, seeing what he was able to accomplish. So now that you're on top, everybody wants to knock everybody off the top of their mountain. And what you guys went through, you can't stop a show. There's so many things you had to deal with it in real time, and you guys did. And like I told you, I know you guys. I play on that show. I put my money on the table. Guys like Wesley go and put $1 million. Nick A. put $1 million because they know. Not everybody knows. They just sit from their perches on the sideline trying to say what you guys are. We're there. We're in the trenches with you guys. We trust our money on that table.
There's only one person who really doesn't play on the show ever more than once or twice that I know may be a little leery of putting millions on the table until he's convinced. But other than that, every single person that has played our show is continuing to play our show. Everybody that knows us knows. It's the people that don't know us. And fairness to everyone. Look, even if Ryan and I are clean like we are, fine. But I understand that there could be things in our staff. So that's all being
But it's okay to look into it. Like what Berkey, I have no problem with what Berkey suggested as far as security measures. Yeah. That's fine. Do that. There's a difference of accusing and suggesting. And as long as they always say, hey, look, this should be done this way, this should be done that way, this is my opinion, that's fine. But now it's just gone to a whole realm of just, I look at this and I'm sorry to all you clowns out there that make these Twitter accounts. I laugh at you. It's a joke. I don't, and by the way, I've been trolled on trolled. I'll get trolled after this. I don't care. You don't affect me. There's nothing you can fucking do to affect me. You know, my family, my friends know who I am. But you got guys here that are putting on a unbelievable show every night. And how do we know? We see the stats. So I'll get the Vertucci's hands up your ass and you're talking as a puppet.
I know. That's what's gonna. It's gonna be that. Well, you know what I found, Josh, and then we'll move on to some other cool things here. But what I found is this, and this is redundant and repetitive. If I could do it all over again, I would have done it different. Would I have stayed silent? No, because if you stay silent, then you're hiding, right? And they tell you you're doing that. Right. If you say something, if you bring out the Brian thing, you know, it works against you, except for you that you were honest about it. But what I should have done, if I could do it all over again, I would have done everything totally different. And what I found has been working is, and this has been labor intensive, but like we go back to the fact if somebody knows you or doesn't know you, and you know, you read a piece or an article or you read something that someone posts, and then everyone has these ideas. Bottom line is, I've been one at a time when someone has targeted me, and I don't owe anyone anything. But I found that if I, instead of fighting back and threatening and being defensive and doing all the things that I did, if I just reach out to that person and say, do you got a minute? And this has happened to me more than once in the last 2 weeks. And I've either through messaging or through mostly on the phone have said, let's talk about this. And by the time we're done talking, usually that person has a different interpretation of what happened, who I am, what my participation is or isn't. And it's the human aspect that we have gone away from because it's all just this now.
Nick, because you're connecting on a human level, right? Yeah. And the reality of it is that these folks, a lot of them don't, you know, Nick, I mentioned earlier, I was caught in a car with Vicodins. I was in a wrong position, but nobody knows the story of why it was dismissed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So all they do is they take the one bad and say, that's it. You were in that. Forget it was dismissed. And they run with that because they don't want to get to know the person. Who is that guy? Yeah. What is the circumstances around it? And that's what's going on with this. Look, man, you know, I like a lot of, I was on Joey Ingram's podcast. I understand he has a job to do to get to the bottom of it. And I understand that he reads a lot of what his followers, and he's trying to, you know this, you're trying to keep people happy, you know? Yeah. And sometimes, you know, things get misconstrued in that. But I see that, look, you guys are amazing guys. You learned a lesson through this. I think the show is going to be so much even more secured as it already is from what I see.
Yeah, that'll be coming out soon.
And everything's going to be there. So
yeah, and just like you mentioned, you know, once the dust cleared and you can clear your head and you're not full of this, you know, like the first few weeks of it, it's like I mentioned already in another pod, you know, I called Joey and we talked about it and I apologized to him. Not that I did anything, because like all I really did was just defend myself and I didn't like some of the things, but I really shouldn't have cared. And I did. And, that's the way it is. You live and you learn. And I know you didn't. Yeah, I was going to bring something up. I'm not going to. But let me ask you this. Tell me about what you saw going off of this subject now. Fuck it. Just who cares about that? Tell me, you mentioned Live at the Bike and when you got there. Why, when I started playing, were you gone? And tell me what you think. And I am not looking for positive or negative. I have, honestly, I think the bike, thank God for them, because they started it, right? And it allowed me to get on that show, have a love for poker that I didn't have before, have a love for the streaming aspect of it, and gave me the ability to be in this position to have started this show. So, honestly, I'm glad they're there and that it happened. And I wish that, that beef does get buried. I think we might be able to do that. We'll see what Houston and I can put together there if the guys would just, knock it off. But so I'm not looking for positive or negative, but tell me what you saw as far as the evolution of that and when it was great, when it was not, and then the evolution into Hustler Casino, which I want to talk about and want to have your feelings on it. So just tell me what you think about streaming, and why did I not see you when I started playing?
Yeah, so I was there from probably 06 to late 17, 2000, early 2018 probably was my last shows. So I saw the whole evolution. I saw when a 5, 10, 20 game, people were having at that time back in 06, 50, 60 grand, which at that time was a lot of money on the table. It really, really was. Got some guys buying in for 6 figures.
Yeah.
It was always a popular show. To me, the brilliance of the show, and it always will be, is having the equal amount of recs to the equal amount of pros.
Yeah.
And what was happening there, I saw it started becoming one rec with a bunch of pros, and that's not a good recipe for the rec. Even though, I listen, if you go look up my stats on those 25, 50, 100 and 50, 100, 200 games, I won every time against Doug and Alec and all those guys. I crushed those games. And that was me. I never ever, by the way, me personally, you'll never ever hear me demand who should be at a table or not. I want everybody. I want Ivy. I want Negreanu.
Yeah.
I want Dewan. I want every fucking top player. Personally, it doesn't mean nothing to me. But the brilliance of the viewer of the show is to have an equal amount of rec versus pro, because they get to see what they do against these guys and how they are. I mean, look at what you've morphed into. So that's something that you could see the development of these people.
Yeah.
Where I saw it take off was when you guys started playing that wave of you, Garrett, at the time, Art Papazian was on there. Mm-hmm. And you mixed in your Matiso and Helmuth from time.
Dan Brian Kim.
Absolutely, Brian Kim.
All the killers.
Which by the way, I've looking in the camera, I've owned Dan Zach and Brian Kim. Let them say different. There's video footage of it on Live at the Bike.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
So for me, seeing it go from that group into, and I wasn't there. I got busy. I started that energy company you talked about, started doing really amazing things with the military. And I'm a guy that no matter how much I love poker, I focus on business first. And when I go all in and I got millions of dollars invested into something, then I focus on that. So I step back from poker and I watched every day. I watched every show you were on. I watched every show Garrett was on, The Phenomenon. Andy and I were part of that original crew with Harry and them. So, I've known Andy for a long, long time. So I've watched you guys. And then I watched Hustler Casino Live come out of that. And I was part of the original, I was there for the first year. I think I did 40 or so shows. And knowing what it was and seeing what it became was really spectacular. Because I know production value. I'm in the entertainment business.
Why do you think HCL is as successful as it is? What's your opinion?
It's first of all, it's dedication and passion. That's number one. But you guys hired well. You brought the right people on to develop and make it what it was production wise. The production value is second to none, and I'm putting that up against PokerGo. I'm putting that up against ESPN and their crew.
Yeah.
It's second to none. From the graphics to the camera angles to the shoots to everything, and that's the part that I don't think Ryan Feldman has time to get involved in scandals if people know what it takes to produce that show. He is hands-on. And people have even criticized him, which bugs me out, of even that. Maybe he should have somebody. No, dude. The dude he's building this thing. He wants it to be perfect.
Ryan lives, breathes, drinks the show and production and the lineups and everything else. And you couldn't rip him out of there. You couldn't rip him out of there if you.
And that's the quality you're getting. So when people sit back and say, wow, well, this other show put the same kind of equipment in there, it don't matter. You can bring the horse to water, but you got to get it to drink. And you guys are making it fucking gobble up lakes of water. I mean, it's amazing. And to see, by the way, the lineups. I mean, look at who the hell. You've had legends upon legends come on this show and play with regular players. And Ryan's sticking to the format that I see that works. You know, Alan Keating is not a professional player. He plays a lot of poker, but he's not a pro. So when you put him at a table with Phil Ivey, that's kind of cool. You know, you guys are doing that.
Yeah, well, a lot of our players, too, like, were just foaming at the mouth to get a seat in those games because he's a legend.
Yeah.
And,
And Dewan. I mean, look, you guys had Tom Dewan. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, JRB came in and won $1 million in 2 days.
Right.
I mean, come on. There's no show that's doing that outside of high stakes poker, which is seasonal. You guys get that every Friday at HCL.
Yeah. And do you, real quick, want to tell everyone about the $15K you're going to pay me in February?
So Nick and I have a prop bet, and it's such an easy bet. So
yeah, for me,
Nick makes it seem like what he won on the show during a certain time was like 560 or 530 grand or whatever it is. We have it written down, and I said I can get that done. I said I'll pass that number, and I'll do it in a certain amount of time. Now, since I've been busy, I haven't come, but I'm so confident seeing how I could just go sit on a Friday, and win it, that Nick's going to pay me $30,000 to where if I don't do it, that number, I got to give him 15. So
you want to just buy out for 14?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm going to take your money.
I can't wait. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay. So, who do you love? Not because of Plus EV, but who do you love playing with out of the Hustler group? Like, who do you enjoy sitting with mostly?
If we're going to do this correctly, I'll put a dream table together.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
You won't realize this, but I run really good against you. I mean, we've got it all in several times, and I don't know if you remember, I've hit every board. I've even hit one twice, and you had a straight, and I
okay. So
and I
I'm
filled
in.
up.
I'm
so
at the
you're
table.
You're at the table.
Right.
I got you at seat. I got you at seat 2. How do you like that? Seat.
The infamous feet. You
seat
can't
2.
win if I'm in seat 2.
I want you at seat 2.
Okay,
I want all the conspiracies. I love it,
Nick.
Nick.
All right.
Seat 1, I put Andy. Seat 2, I put you. Seat 3, I put Garrett. Seat 4, I put Alan Keating because he's just fun.
So you want to play with killers?
Oh, I want to play with killers.
Okay, go on.
Alan Keating. I want Ben because I'd love for him to just bug out on me like he did on Ron. Would be, shut the fuck up, Ron. That thing. That would be hilarious. and then I would go. Let's see. There's so many people that really, I mean, if we can get back some of the pros, I would want to get back like a David Pete, because I thought he was fun on the show
he was good
during the time. And I'd like to get an Ivy and Dewan, So, I mean, if I had my choice to sit at a table, eliminate one of them to put me in, that's my round table.
Okay. And now all the players you play with, I always ask everyone this, who are the most challenging players to you and why? Like who do you have the most trouble with? Or do you think for you give you the toughest?
I don't run exceptionally well, and it's very, very weird. Andy, I run amazing against. It's just always been for many, many, many years ago.
You sound very superstitious.
I have a weird thing. I run really good against Andy, but some folks who have called me. Ludacris has gotten lucky on me. I mean, it's where I've had ace king, he had ace queen. He'd outflop me, whether it's ace queen king or something like that.
Yeah.
So he's gotten moments, and he knows this. I keep stats of mine and his heads up, and he's currently up $5,000 on us heads up. But he's had some very lucky hands, and if anybody says he's not, I know you run good against him. He's hard to play against.
Oh, I've always said that. He's very hard to play against. Yeah,
he's
not. Of course, he's a
and
tough
he's
player.
loving right now. He's going to be jerking off that we gave him this shout out. He's going to
Well, he does that anyways.
Yeah, of course. He's sitting there with all looped up, and he's going to do it. We know it.
Well, yeah. I mean, why stop progress? So is he one of the toughest players you have to play against? Is that your answer?
He is. You know, and it's because his range is so all over the place that he could have it or not. I mean, he's that guy, and he puts people in very uncomfortable positions. And to me, I think he's really shooting himself in the foot. He should be playing the bigger games more, because I know people get concerned because of his style, but damn, he could mess with some people, man. He showed I think he won $100K playing one of the big games once. So
yeah, no, he's a very thoughtful, talented player. He does have some blow-ups, but he's very tough to play against. What about you as a player? What's your strengths? What's your weaknesses?
On Hustler, I showed a different side that people saw at the bike, and that's why if you see, I think I'm like on the actual stream, I'm up like $600. I'm not a losing player, but you know that's not counting off stream, because after stream I've crushed a lot. I've done really well. It's because I changed my game up, Nick. I'm gonna pat you on the back a little bit, and the fans will have fun, like again saying how much I'm sucking your dick for this. But I watched you form what you've become now, and I'm emulating that. I'm changing things about myself that I never used to do before. Mm-hmm. You know, I do have gamble. You've literally talked to me and pulled me aside saying, why would you do that when you have 6,000 left and this and that? You know, we've had those conversations.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff I'm wanting to eliminate. But I like pleasing the fans too. So throwing out a 7,500 straddle, it's kind of fun. I mean,
it's good for the show.
You know, I know it's good
dumb,
for it's dumb,
yeah.
but taking that out to become a more productive EV player is seeing what you do, you know, is something that I'm doing more for this stream than I did for the previous one.
What is your weakness in poker that you have to work on?
The tilting. I'm a sore loser. You know, people equate it to like, oh, he's scared. It's not scared. I hate to lose. Yeah. Michael Jordan isn't on my level. My wife will tell you, I will compete with her walking up a flight of stairs. I'm like, I do not want to lose at anything. I like to win in everything I do. So that's the thing that I've learned. I felt better on your show than I was. I mean, they've seen me at Live at the Bike lose my shit and I straddled against Doug Polk 10,000. I was like, let's go, you know, let's go all in 10,000. Yeah. You know, it's not smart poker. Like you said, it's great for the show, but that's the thing I need to work on is and I've seen you do it. You've actually told me before at the table, get up and take a walk. You've actually suggested, hey, why don't you go for a walk?
Yeah, go blow some steam, man. Yeah. Like you're doing dumb shit.
Oh, then I went to Baccarat, probably lost another 15. So it's like
well, you know, true killers in poker would never tell you to go take a walk.
That's
but
right.
You're my friend, and like all these other guys, they're my friends. So if I see someone, you know, in that spot, I prefer they go for a walk,
well, Nick,
pick up or whatever, you know.
Listen, now thanks to all these Twitter sites, I know all your tells what your hands are doing when you're strong.
That's really funny because you told me that. Like, and now I have to think about it because you told me. I'm just going to say it.
Say it.
All right, you told me the other day because of all this stuff that's out there. You said, now I don't know if it's true. You said when I have it, that's when I do this because I'm having a confident posture and I clear my throat, which I clear it all the time, so I don't know. And then you said when I don't, I open up and get more not as confident posture.
That's 100% true.
Now I got to think about this shit.
It's not the throat thing. You do the throat thing all the time.
All right.
You do it excessive
when I have it.
When you have
what is excitement?
I guess so, because you got a heart on your throat, dude. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, no pun.
Yes.
Okay. How about poker idols? Do you have any? Did you have any?
I idolize my mother, and
your mother's a poker player?
No, but I just idolize her.
Okay, so not a poker idol.
I don't have idols in poker. People I respect.
Okay, how about that?
My Mount Rushmore of poker, if it was like a sports team, would be Phil Ivey first. I would go Daniel Negreanu second. I would go Tom DeWan third. Mm-hmm. And it's just such a toss-up for the last one. I want to put Helmuth, but but the cash game things, I know he has a different perception, and he puts all these, if he wins $100 on a live cash game, that counts as a win. But because of his tournament, I'll put him up there. He earns it. I mean, when you have that many bracelets, he'd be up there for me.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. This is one that, we've talked about everything. What's your thoughts on the September 29th incident?
First of all, I don't know Robbie at all. I know Garrett. I've respected Garrett. He's always been a gentleman to me.
Yeah.
Never once have we ever had an awkward exchange or anything. I wish it all wouldn't have went down. I think, look, every poker player I've spoken to, when they first heard of the incident, said they thought there was cheating involved just because of how it played out, and nobody can comprehend it. I personally, I can't see it. I'm not saying it's just because there's such a sophistication. I know people.
Now, you've changed your mind like 5 times.
Dude, I've went back and forth.
I know. A lot of people have.
And I've said it on Twitter. I'm on this side, then I'm on that side. Because they're, because these guys, look, Berkey and those guys did a good job of covering it, I thought, and Joey, and
I agree.
They brought some really good points out, and you're sitting there like, damn, I thought it was no way, and then you're like on that side. So it's just hard for me to believe, and it has nothing to do with lie detector. I know too much about lie detector tests. They're good. They could make points, but there are definitely skillful people who can demolish them. That's what I can say. So it has nothing to do with that. I just think that the woman, if there was cheating, I just can't see it. To me, I look at the people, and you have to be able to have the chutzpah to pull it off, and I don't see it. Even if Brian was involved, I don't see it.
Yeah.
It's just something there, and I'm trying to see it, because I have so much respect. I treat others the way I want to be treated. Garrett has always treated me with respect, so I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, yo, this, by the way, and the other part of him is he makes some pretty sick reads in life every day when he plays. So you're like, damn, this dude's reads are so good.
Sure.
Maybe this is his read, and his reads have been on point. So it's like so hard, but it's just I can't get myself over to the side if I was a juror to convict her. I couldn't do it.
Well, you can't. Not at that point with what you know, although you could have your opinion on it. And, on the Garrett subject, I agree with you. His reads are great. I know absolutely 10 billion% he believes it. So he's standing by his beliefs. He has the right to do that, whether he's right or wrong. And I know that I could say this. And this is but what we all have to remember, now looking back on it from a 10,000 view with a ton of space in between the incident and now, I could say Garrett handled it wrong. Let me say this. He handled it wrong. He should have done this. He should have not taken the money. He should have possibly not said anything till later. He should have handled it, all that. But what everyone doesn't understand, too, to his defense, is if you're not in his shoes, feeling exactly what he felt, whether it's true or not, and thinking what he thought at a 10 out of 10 in his mind, you can't really judge what he did and how he did it, and maybe he would change it if he could start over. I don't know that. I'm not saying he would, but you can't put judgment on his actions because you weren't in his shoes. It's like when I reference back to me, it's like, look, if you could just rewind the clock and I could make every decision again, this would be a completely different scenario for me, but I can't do that. Either can he. Don't know if he would want to. I'm just saying, so, it's an unfortunate thing because, if nothing happened, that's pretty horrible for a person to have to endure, although it seemed like Robbie enjoyed the attention, but it's still a horrible thing. And if it did happen and it's not proven and, Garrett has to go through this, it's a horrible thing. And so, it's just unfortunate.
Listen,
but good things will come out of it. And the good things that will come out of it is, and when we put the report out, I believe it'll be after Thanksgiving sometime because a lot of work has been put into this. Everyone, they do not understand. There has been interviews upon interviews, investigators.
They don't know how much work and money was spent
over
into
6
this.
figures. Okay.
Yes.
And so what was my point? My point is I'm old and I got to remember
Your
my
point was you were saying that how much work was put into all this to get to the answer that's going to come out. And Garrett basically, look, let me follow up with you saying that I feel bad for both sides because I'm a man of faith. You see all my crosses and everything on me.
Yeah.
I feel bad for both sides. I do believe in my heart, Garrett feels in his heart, that's what happened. And we don't know, and I don't know. You and I are friends. You've never said this, and I'm going to say this on the record. You've never told me anything about where the reports are leading or anything. We've never had that conversation.
I won't do it.
I'm saying
nor
it
will
now,
I give my opinion.
And I'm saying now, my opinion, you can't. I can. I don't think... I've seen it all, Nick. I've watched everything over and over again. I can't find it except the action of her calling. You understand what I'm saying?
I forgot here. I remember now. What I was saying, the good things that's going to come out of it is this. This may sound funny, but you find out who your friends are. So there's been a real pruning for me. So I think that's a good thing, even though inside I'm a pretty sensitive guy and a lot of things have hurt me that people that I don't have relationship with anymore. But I think ultimately it's a good thing because I found out who's really had my back. But the good thing for the poker community will be this. And this is something that it's just I made a comment once. I think I made a comment and I got roasted for it by like, if Garrett didn't do this, we wouldn't all be going through this. Or I said something and they were like, that's naive of me because like this needed to change. I do agree with that. And the good thing that will come out is when we put the report out or when we finally say what it is, like there's been a complete overhaul to our system, to our production during even Thanksgiving week when we're off. We're going to be doing a ton more stuff logistically for everything, new tables coming in. So there's all these other things. We use these, this is no big deal, but we use these I forget what they called these bags now. If you come play, one's on your seat, you have to put all your shit in it, you zip it up, nothing can penetrate, any waves, whatever. This happening, you can't bring anything in, and there's like a ton of other internal stuff. So the good thing about that is nothing could ever be 1,000% safe, but it's going to be 10x, 20x better. And we'll share it with the lodge. We'll share it. Doug could come down and see everything we're doing and anything he wants to mirror or have or duplicate. Same with the bike, because that is good for poker. And so that will be the good thing.
Well, Doug don't see you as a competitor. You see, that's the other thing too. How much poker do you watch, Nick? A lot, right? You're a big fan.
Yeah.
You're a fan of poker.
Yeah, I love poker.
You love poker. And there are people that can watch HCL and Live at the Bike and the Loach. There's people that can do that. I do it. I love poker. I love watching it. There's enough room for everybody. But I will say this about you guys. Nobody even took into consideration, maybe you guys blew up so much bigger and faster than even you guys expected to.
Well, of course we did.
You believed you would, but you didn't know you would. There's a difference.
We had expectations and they were exceeded by like 50%. Like it of course.
So that needs to, let them take a breather to adjust then. Let's help them make their show better, not accuse them to make their show better.
But that is true. But I want to take accountability and it's to your point, the accountability that I take, Ryan does too, but I'm speaking for me, in fairness to him, is everything did happen so fast and things went at warp speed, and there was so many things that I work on the show and the business end of it, that if I could do it over again, now everyone will get a background check. Was that a mistake from me? Yes. Everyone piled on me and said, how can you hire this guy? Well, it was someone that's in the poker community and they were an intern-ish and, it just happened. There's no excuse, right? That should be done. You should be vetted, especially if you're in that. We should have had this differently. This should have been set up that way. We should have, there's so many things that I absolutely 1,000% know that could have even been stronger, even with no excuse of the growth. But that also is a learning lesson and something that you can't go retro and wind back the clock. All you could do is get better and stronger. So anyways, so agreed.
I'm very, very happy to where this is going. I've seen what you guys have done. I'm proud of it. I think the show's only going to get bigger and bigger, and I can't wait. I will be back. We wrap up our pre-pros. So let's say I'm planning on being back in the very, 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 very near future.
Well, you better get your fucking ass moving because you only have till February 1st to have won 560,000. You're drawing so dead. I mean, if you want to
on your show, your Fridays are amazing. I can play two Friday shows and
play two Fridays. Listen to me.
If Nick,
18 million by the time
Nick A can win 400,000 on a Friday show, I could. Okay.
Listen, you're gonna go.
And no disrespect,
you're
Nick
gonna You're gonna go lose 20 million to try to win 30K.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna do.
Let's see. We'll see.
All right.
We'll see how it goes.
I can't wait.
Excellent.
Okay. Any other so as far as business or personal goals, what's next for you? What do you expect out of yourself?
Listen. I live my life independently, but I lean conservatively. And with that, the whole reason of my studio being formed was because I'm not a part of this woke Everything has to be in alignment to one way. I believe in free speech. I believe that the product we put out, people should be able to say and speak and do their minds. And my whole studio is about truth. Everything we're doing is based on, we're going to tell everything without having no concerns, and we're going to tell it from a side that is caring for all sides. But we're going to be able to speak our minds, and that's why we're doing it. We took on the project of the botched Afghanistan pullout. We took the rights of the right hand of the Prime Minister of Afghanistan. It's called Operation Pineapple Express today. It may change to 10 days in Kabul. We're working on that right now. We're excited about that. We got some generals. We got some big players involved in that who are involved in a deal. So we're doing some really exciting stuff, but it's in alignment. Why I started this studio and my partners are with me is because change. The current Hollywood game is not working. It's a bully game. And we're not scared. We're not concerned because there's a lot of celebrities that feel like we do and want to be with us.
Because they won't work.
But they're with us. They don't care. Because we now are talking to thousands of theater chains that want to distribute what we put out.
You already know this, you will be attacked big time for this, right? I have been. It should be continual.
And that's okay. You know what? I'm that guy up there, that power, that supreme being, he's got my back, and he's always had my back and always let me land on my feet. I'm not afraid. I'm not scared of anybody.
You should do like a poker story maybe.
Yeah, I think I'm in talks.
Are you in talks with people?
With somebody doing that.
Well, do you happen to have any connections with Danny DeVito? Because the word on the street is that's who should play me.
Oh, interesting. That's what I heard too. Somebody said Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I mean, so if you could land Danny DeVito, he might be able to stick the landing on this.
Listen,
he could sit in seat 2.
Listen, I said it to you as we were walking in. You tower over me. I think you're a bit too tall for Danny DeVito to play you. But I will say this. You and I will have a conversation before I leave about some business and what I think we could do together. Because I think that, number one, no matter what people say and tweet about you and your partner, I think you guys got a nose for how things should be. And my studio would love collaborating with you guys.
Well, I do appreciate your support. You've supported me from the very beginning. I won't forget that. You actually took a lot of heat. You battled for me, but which I'm glad you're not anymore too, because I don't want to see you taking any of that heat either. It's good to I just ignore now and block. But so let me ask you this question. What do you want anyone that doesn't know something about you or any last comments? Is there anything you want to say before we bring this thing to an end?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a hard-nosed guy. I'm a New Yorker. I come off as a dick sometimes. I get it. I'm a caring guy. I'm giving. I mean, every dealer will tell you. I know there's people that have tipped a lot, the Mr. Beast and all that, but I've given thousands. And not because I'm trying to show off a bravado. I actually care about people. I give to care about people. So that dickness you see sometimes, that's not really me. I got a soft heart. I cry. My wife made me watch this fucking show called From Scratch on Netflix. I was crying like a baby. Okay, I have emotional side to me. So as tough as the exterior is, I have that feelings inside. So I think people misread that a lot. And I hope that this interview can let them realize that guy ain't so bad. He's actually a good guy.
Yeah. Well, you know how it goes. We'll see.
Sinatra says, "Kill them with massive success." Right?
Yes, his quote is, "The best revenge is success."
I love it.
Of course, but I'm not. That's the thing. Like, I know this is crazy. I'm not looking for that. Like, I really had a pivot. This wasn't planned. We were going to end the show.
No.
I had such a pivot about a week ago, and my pivot it was like, how do you say it? An epiphany?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's epiphany.
Epiphany. That's what I'm saying. I knew I didn't know how to say it. Epiphany.
Yeah.
Tiffany's epiphany. All right. Basically, it's like this. It's like, look, man, I just don't want that fight. I don't. I'm a fighter, and if I'm pushing the corner, even now, I'll go. But I want to run this show. I want to do it like I've been doing it, but better, obviously, now with some things. People who support me, that actually know me and really care about me and love me, that's where I want to put my time and attention into. I don't want to put any more time and attention to people that I have no desire to have a relationship with, and they have no desire to have one with me or don't want to really know me. And like, I've had to really had to come to Jesus on that, right? Like it's just is like one of those things. And would I sign up to do this all again for the last 45 days? No, probably not, even though the takeaway will be so good for me because it was so painful. But the positive EV that's going to come out of it for me will be worth it because I've learned a life lesson. I've never been in this position before, right? So I've learned a life lesson of what to do, what not to do, and if ever in this position again, how to handle myself. And so I do plan on taking that and putting it in to work in my life. So, for me, that's how I look at it. And I'm gonna keep it as a positive. I'm gonna surround myself with the people that love and care about me, which I have a lot. And I'm just gonna keep having fun playing on my fucking poker show.
And that's all. And that's why you built it, was to do it. And for me, just so you know, when we do make the movie, you'll play yourself.
No shit.
Very simple.
Oh my gosh.
Done.
Danny DeVito.
Well, maybe we'll call you that.
Danny DeVito. All right. This is the Nick Vertucci Show. I am Nick Vertucci with Josh Macciello. And that is all we got. Envy out.
Peace.